Okay, for this assignment, we're going to learn how to add some rigging or rigs into a character. You can watch this demo video, or there's also PDF instructions that you can use to make sure that you're just staying on the right track. The first one we're going to do is this weightlifter, and then when it comes to these parts, you don't have to worry about that. It's just more explanation onto the type of bones that you can have. And then once you're done with the weightlifter, we'll come and do the snake. Okay. So I have these files here in your assignment. So you can click on the weightlifter first. It's going to download and you can open that. Okay, so it should look like this. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to this asset warp tool. So it looks like a push pin. So go ahead and click on that. Now the first point that you make is going to be like kind of the main point. So we're going to click right kind of below this little V shape that he has. And you might have to click twice. So what this does is it creates a mesh over the object. And then we want to come down and try to make it pretty straight. Come down to about where his waistline would be. So you're trying to think about how someone would move, right? So they can move there at their waist. And then the next would be like his thigh, the top of his thigh, and then his knee, his ankle, and then the bottom of his foot. Okay? So you should have those points created. Then when you're done with that, you want to click back on this middle joint here and then do the same thing on this side. Okay, so you have the top of his thigh, his knee, his ankle, and then his foot. Okay, once you have those, you want to come back to this main point that's a square. And we're going to come up to kind of right below his neck. And we're going to make one at his shoulder, his elbow, and right here where his wrist is. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing on this side. So again, you come right back up to this one, shoulder, elbow, joint, and wrist. Okay, then we want to come right back up here. And if you wanted to move the face, you would also need to create one here. So I'm just going to do one right at the top of his eyebrow. Okay, so we have that. Okay, once you're done with this point, you can just select anything outside of the image to get rid of that. And this next part I just want to show you, so but you don't, if you do it along with me, just make sure to go back and undo it. So you'll see if I move this main point that the whole figure is going to move with it, right? Let me undo that. But if you just move one of these other points, then only the things along with it are going to move, if that makes sense. So what we want to do is we want to freeze his feet because his feet aren't going to be moving, right? It's just going to be his body. He's going to be doing squats to help his skinny legs. So click on this ankle joint here, and you come over here on the right side, and you want to go to freeze joint and turn that on. Then you want to do the same thing on the other ankle, so turn on freeze joint. So then if I move this main point, you can see that everything's moving but his feet are not, right? So that's what we want. Okay, so go ahead and click on this joint here that connects the knee to the ankle. Okay, so over here you have different bone types. So this is the hard bone type, which kind of looks like a triangle. And then there's soft and fixed. The soft and fixed will look the same. So go ahead and change your two joints here to soft. So if you're wondering about like which joint to use if you were making your own animation, This is a good reference. Here it kind of goes into the difference in the hard and soft and flexy bone joints. So if you're interested in that, it's definitely something that you could look into. Some of them are better if you need to curve things or if you need them to just kind of the way you need them to move. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to start creating our keyframes. So we're going to come to 15 first and insert a keyframe. Then we're going to go to 30 and insert a keyframe there. So the only frame that we're going to change is frame 15. We're going to leave 1 and 30 the same. That way when it loops, it will look like there is no pause in there and it'll just be a continuous loop. Okay, so first thing that we're going to do is move his main joint down a little bit. And you can turn on this onion skin so you can kind of see where he was before to where he is now. I'm going to move him down a little bit more. So now I'm going to extend his thighs outwards. Okay, and also his knee a little bit. Maybe not so much outwards. Move this down a little bit. And so if your feet are kind of getting a little deformed, it might just be where you place your ankle joint. So you can kind of come and adjust this how you think that it should be. Okay, so if you need to kind of see it moving, then you can go ahead and right click in between this span and create classic tween. And then right click in this span and create classic tween. Okay, so then you can turn that off for now. And you can see it moving. If that's not enough bend for you, maybe you make it more, right? So I'm okay with that. For the legs part, I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to kind of move his arms a little bit. Okay, so maybe his arms are going a little bit down when he's squatting. Okay, maybe his head is going to move to the side. Okay. So you can mess with that, and again, you're welcome to do it however you like. So one thing we are going to add is we're going to add another acid warp here to his mustache so that his mustache moves as he's going down. So I'm going to come here to the tip of his mustache and create a point. And I'm going to press enter to end that. Sorry, or you can just click out. And then I'm going to add another point to his other side of his mustache and click out. Okay, so then again, remember we're only editing frame 15. I'm going to move this out so that his mustache flares out while he's squatting. So one more thing you can add is you can go to frame 1 here and go to where it has, we're under the properties in the frame panel under tweening, and you should have an effect, and you can create an ease in effect there. And there's a bunch of different things you can do. And then you can come also to this last frame, which I don't know why it's not ending there. And you can also create and ease out. Make sure it saves. Thinking you have to double click on it. So I'm going to go back and do this one. And then you can just kind of see how that does. So he's going slower and then coming back up slower. Okay, so once you're good with that, you'll save that one. So you can export it as a GIF. You can preview it if you want to. If you want to give it, right now it has a transparent background. If you wanted to give it a background color, you can just change that. Okay, you can also go in, you could go into your stage and give him something to stand on. So for example, let's say, if you wanted that blue box to go all the way over, I don't know because it's gone now. I think I put it on the ending frame. Copy and paste that here. So if you waited and did the background at the end, you would have to go and put it on each of the, what is it? Each of these keyframes so that it would show. That's what kind of it would look like there, and click save. And again, you always want to make sure that after it saves that it's going to play. Okay. If you're done with that one, you can go ahead and you can go ahead and attach that file, or you can wait until we're done with the second one to attach it. Okay. And I'm going to go back to my assignment and get my snake charmer file. Click on that. Okay, so here there's a lot more layers, but we're really only worried about the snake layer. You can see they're already locked, so we don't have to worry about them. So don't get freaked out. We're only worrying about the snake layer. So we're going to go ahead and hide this basket layer, and we're going to make sure that we're on our first frame of our snake layer. Okay, so we're going to get our asset warp tool, and we want to come over here where it says tool under the properties panel, and we want to change this to flexi, and we're just going to start down here with that. And actually I'm going to zoom in so you can see this better. So we're going to start down here, and I'm just going to kind of follow this line. So I'm going to start right here where this line touches, and then I'm going to go up to about right here, and I'm going to click and drag it kind of the same way you do the pen tool to follow that line. Okay, now I'm going back up here, and I'm going to click and drag that to follow that line. And then another one right here at the top of his head. Okay, so you should have some kind of curved line this way, and again, you just click out when you're done with that. Okay, so now we're going to go to frame 25, and we're going to insert a keyframe here. Okay, so make sure that you are on the snake layer, because if you insert your keyframe up here, it's going to really mess you up. And we're going to go to frame 8 and create a new keyframe, and then we're going to start moving our snake. So I'm going to move it back, and then I'm going to move this one forward. Okay, and then I'm going to adjust these curves to make it more curved this way and that way, and maybe move this up a little bit. So just kind of mess with these and just kind of make sure that it looks different from one frame to another. And then we're going to go on to frame 15 and insert another keyframe. and do the same thing again. Make sure you inserted that frame on the snake layer. So I'm going to move it back, up again, move that up again, and then adjust these how I might need to. Again, make sure there's some difference there. Then I'm just going to adjust these so they're a little more even. So I'm just moving them down. You can hold shift and move them down a little bit easier. So I have this one at 9 and this one at 17. I think that looks more even. Okay, so now you're going to come in between each of these spans, right click and insert or create a classic tween. Right click, create classic tween. Right click, create classic tween. Okay, so you can go ahead and preview that. And if you want to kind of see it looped already, you can click on this loop button here and then extend it out so that it loops the whole animation. So you can kind of see how that would look. And you can unhide your basket. So it's not as moving as smooth as I'd like, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so if you want, you can always go back to any keyframe and adjust it. Okay, but I'm going to leave mine for now. So we're not done yet. We're going to come here and create a new layer. Okay, and we're going to go to this library panel here, and we're going to search. Actually, here it is right here. You'll see these items here, and you'll see the one music. Okay, so now you're going to name your new layer music. And you're going to click here on this music image, and you're going to drag it to the stage. Okay, so now what we're going to do is move this music layer all the way down to the bottom. Okay, I'm going to move this back down and just scroll to the bottom here and just adjust it because you want it somewhere behind your people. Actually, I'm going to adjust it. I put it about right there so it's level with this. And if you want, you can make it smaller or you can leave it. It's really up to you. I think I'm going to leave it right there. So now what we're going to do is grab the Asset Warp tool. Again, make sure your music layer is selected and go here to Tool under the Properties panel. And we want to turn on the envelope and make sure again that we're still in FlexiBone mode. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just click on this music, and you can see it creates a mesh over the entire music sheet here. Okay, so starting here, if you hold shift it might give you a straight line, I'm not sure. Okay, and then one more going all the way out. Okay, so I have that. Okay, so now we're going to come here and we're going to move this kind of outward here. And then, go ahead and click out. We're going to hover over this line till it becomes curved. And we're going to curve that a little bit that way. Then we're going to come curve these lines. So I'm going to click on this one here. Oops. I'm going to zoom in here. And you should get those handlebars so that you can make these more curved. And you're just going to keep adjusting these that way. Okay, so now we will click on this layer, frame 25, and insert a keyframe. And then we're going to come to frame 13, insert a keyframe there, and then we're going to adjust this so that it will be able to move. And I'm not sure how that's going to look. That's not too different, so I just want to edit it a little more. Okay, so then if you want to kind of see what it looks like, go ahead and insert your classic tween. So you'll right click and create classic tween there, and right click and create classic tween there. Okay, so then you should be able to play it and see what that looks like. And it's really just your preference of what you think. If you want to see it with, of course, you can always preview it. I'm going to try to move it a little more. This, whenever you're fine with it, you can leave that alone. Oh, damn it. Okay, so if you're good with that, you can go ahead and export it. We'll go to File, Export, and Export Animated GIF. If you don't want that transparent, again, you can put your background back. Color code for white is 6Fs. And then click Save. And again, make sure that you open the file and make sure that it plays. Okay, so then you'll be turning in both your snake charmer and your weightlifter GIF for your assignment.